999.
Here we go. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Trench Grenade channel. The channel where somehow some old crusty Sergeant First Class, Senior NCO, Infantryman has to teach you why yesterday's events for the Secret Service went horribly wrong. All I'm going to do, guys, is give you a 10-level knowledge. What that means is an entry-level knowledge of how to conduct a private security detail that the Secret Service failed to do yesterday. This is my opinion. Nothing I covered in today's video is going to be classified. Everything you can literally Google after this video to verify that I'm, in fact, telling you the truth. Before we get too far along, if you enjoy this video, just leave a like and a comment. I don't care what you comment down below, whatever. Why am I talking to you about this? I'm just some dude, some infantryman, right? Okay, I've spent most of my career jumping out of airplanes in a Bradley fighting vehicle or as a drill sergeant, okay? But I spent 1 year on a private security detail protecting a colonel and his assets, right? I can't divulge exactly who or when, but it was during, I'm just going to leave it there. There we go. Okay. And then the other security detail that I was a part of was in Ukraine during the initial invasion of Crimea. So I have, in fact, been there and, in fact, done that. No, I'm not the end all be all, but I feel like I'm in a position to be able to talk from a place of just basic information and my experiences on how it's blatantly obvious that yesterday's events were completely preventable. Okay, private security detail. That's what you saw yesterday, was every echelon of President Trump's private security detail. Some of those individuals did pretty okay. Some of them failed drastically. I'm going to show you what should have happened. Purpose, I've already gone over it. I'm going to show you what it should look like in the future to make sure that you understand what should be happening. This is for good guys. This is not for bad guys. If you're a bad guy out there using this information to try to do something bad, stop it. Okay, check it out. First and foremost, okay, this is our HVT. This is the president. Okay, sometimes you'll run drills called protect the president. Sometimes you'll run it called HVT. For today's video, we're just going to call it the high value target. This is where he's going to be. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do, we'll use red. Okay, it's going to get a little wild with the markers. Okay, so we'll say this is where he's going to. This is the main road, and we're going to enter through here. So the first thing is we have to have a primary, an alternate, and a tertiary route. Okay, so we'll say that's the primary. We'll have an alternate route just to keep it simple. They're going to be the dotted lines and a tertiary route. Okay, now obviously they would be going this way as well, and not all coming from the same direction. We'll say primary, alternate, contingency. Okay, first thing you got to do with the route is everybody on the security detail has to understand the route. You have to drive the route, walk the route. If you have drones, you need to use the drones for the route. Pretty basic stuff, right? Like you're going to go on vacation, you need to learn the route. Go learn where you're going to get hit from, whether it be from an IED, a near ambush, far ambush, or a designated marksman, that's a sniper, from the enemy, okay? So where they might hit you on these routes. All right, so now that we have our routes, imagine where those routes are, because I don't want the board to be cluttered up with too much stuff. So now that everybody on your security detail, on all the different teams that I'm about to cover, understands the route and understands the duration that the president or HVT will be in the area. Those are the basic things. The reason we need to understand the route and how long the president intends to be there, so we can establish an ammunition plan, a water plan, and a fuel plan, okay, and a time on target plan. All those things need to be understood. The drone team needs to be able to understand how long the drone's got to be in the air. If you have close air support in some situations, like an Apache gunship or a C-130 gunship, right, that's overhead, they need to understand how much fuel and ammunition they need to be able to provide support. Obviously, yesterday in Pennsylvania, we didn't have an Apache gunship or a C-130 because it doesn't. The ROE, the rules of engagement, and the area of operation didn't call for that. But that's something we need to have. So once we have a route, then we need to have an inner cordon team and an outer cordon team. An inner cordon team is pretty simple. They are going to be at 4 different spots. Boom, boom. That's actually the outer, and then the inner. Okay, you have the inner cordon and the outer cordon. We'll cover both at the same time. Outer is out here. Inner is in here. Okay, outer, make sure people that are suspicious never even get into the max effective range. So we'll use 5.56, the most common caliber in America. So at 500 to 600 meters out, okay, we'll say this is 600 meters away, there's going to be a bunch of high speeds, probably in this case, former infantry dudes, okay, or former Tier 1 operators that are going to be out here on the outer cordon. They are going to make sure that nobody can physically get close enough to the HVT to allow them to get shot. Pretty basic, right? And then on the inner cordon is going to be the same exact type of dudes. A bunch of pipe hitters, right? Like you saw in yesterday's video. They're just going to have, 11.5 rifles with suppressors, and they're going to be on the inner cordon. They are going to be making sure that, again, if anyone does somehow get past the outer cordon at 600 meters from the HVT, that the inner cordon scoops them up and kills them or detains them. Pretty simple stuff, right? That's your route plan, your inner cordon, your outer cordon. Then you're going to have your A team. Your A team is going to be right here. They're always going to be with the HVT. They are people that are going to shoot anybody that gets too close to the president, and they are going to be the human meat shield. Your head of security will not normally be on the A team, okay? You will have an OIC, an officer in charge of the A team that understands what's going on, but the B team is where typically your OIC, your officer in charge of the entire detail, will be, okay? The B team is going to be the A team and the B team are going to be in plain clothes. They're going to be wearing suits or whatever the high-value target's wearing to blend in, right? The A team will be very close to the president. They are the human meat shield, okay? The B team will be available to support the A team. That means if they need to conduct a handoff of the high-value target to confuse the enemy of where the president is going, if he's going left, right, or wherever, that's why you have two different teams, an A team and a B team. What happened yesterday is there was no outer cordon at all that was visible. So our shitbag got right here and was able to see the president. I'm tracking within 120 meters. Let's talk about that. 120 meters. That is a chip shot. That is the easiest shot for an average E1 in the infantry to make. To be able to see, positively identify that is an enemy combatant and kill them easily. Like, it is a joke. That level, that range is a joke for a private to be able to engage. So why do we have a designated marksman, and we're going to get to it, up here that couldn't even engage and notify and positively identify somebody at 120 meters? It's unacceptable. Anyway, moving on. So now that you guys understand the A team and the B team's responsibility, then we have a tactical team, okay? And yes, that's my work phone going crazy that will not mute itself, but it's me, not you. We have a tactical team. The tactical team is just going to be on standby. They're there to lay hate and escort the HVT, the president, out of there if things go crazy. You'll never see them. They're going to be in a van. They're going to be in a truck or some SUV. You're never going to see the tactical team. And then way off out here, out of play, is going to be the quick reaction force. That's going to be a platoon of Marines or a platoon of infantry type dudes that are just waiting in case everything goes to shit, right? You're never going to know about these guys, the quick reaction force. All right, so now you guys understand. Outer cordon, inner cordon, A team, B team, tactical team, QRF. Now let's talk about what got seriously messed up yesterday. Okay, we have our DMs, our designated marksmen, right? Not direct message. Our DMs over here. You're supposed to have 2 to 3 teams. That's a sniper and a spotter, a shooter and a spotter teams. So we had one here yesterday. We should have had another one, and we should have had another one. Now, let's talk about why we have 3. You want overlapping sectors of fire. That means if this guy can only pull a certain area, and that means this guy will pull another area, and then the third team would pull facing back towards them. That way you have interlocking sectors of fire. What I saw yesterday was one team that was overworked. The team that they had identified, these guys right here, had way, way too much work to do. They had too much of a sector of fire. They could not easily provide security for our president, okay, or our HVT, as they had a massive sector of fire. You need multiple designated marksman teams to be able to cover an HVT like this. 2 more things I want to cover, and then I'll tell you where they messed up, okay? Overwatch. I didn't see any drones. They need to have drone coverage. You have to have some sort of overmatch. If you don't have drones, then you've already lost. So you need to have some sort of drone asset to be able to pick up threats, okay? Using FLIR, forward-looking infrared. They did not, that I saw, I don't really know what they had, but I could not see any Overwatch or close air support of drones at all. Okay, last thing I want to cover, because everything else was horrible, and I don't even want to think about it. Okay, last thing I want to cover. Objectively speaking, not to insult anybody, males are, objectively speaking, more successful at lifting weight, moving heavy things, and shooting rifles, and moving in and around structures with teammates, okay? I think we have all seen the video by now of the female agent that didn't even know how to hold her handgun and didn't even know how to stand in the stack and didn't even know how to reholster her handgun. It doesn't matter if you're male or female to be trained to a high level. We can all agree on that. There's awesome officers and NCOs that are female. But what we saw yesterday is what it looks like to me and many others as some sort of inclusion hire, where they may have hired somebody that was not trained to that high level. What I'm saying is, we should not be basing things on male and female or race. It should be based on their military or police background. If you're not able to holster and unholster your weapon and move in and around teammates and structures to protect a high value target, then you should not be on that team. I think we can all agree on that, right? So, going forward, what I want the message of the video is this was gross incompetence. It's either one thing or another. It's either a conspiracy to allow this to happen, and I'm not going to get too into that. That's up to you guys to discuss in the comments. Keep it respectful. It was either a conspiracy to allow the HVT to die, or it was gross incompetence and a lack of rehearsing. Because everything we discussed today should have been rehearsed many times. There should have been a brief prior to the operation. There should have been an AAR, an after action review, at every single time they conduct a security detail like this. So what I'm saying is everything got overlooked. We need to slow down. If we're going to have public things like this with high value targets out there, the guys that are doing this professionally need to slow down, rehearse, and make sure everything is wired tight prior to execution. Okay, guys, hopefully this covers what happened yesterday. Thanks for being here, and until next time, it's going to be Trench Grenade, your average former private security detail enjoyer, signing out. Cheers.